We'd have been
Let's
done
go.
by now, Jim.
Yeah, I know it. Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Public Facilities Committee meeting for April 17th. And our first order of business on the agenda today is the approval of the minutes from our 3/13/2023 meeting. Did everybody get a chance to look them over? And
I not only looked them over, I would be an honor if I could make a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
thank you, Mr. Scudder. And yes, thank you guys for taking care of that for us. All in favor of the minutes? Approval of the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? And the minutes are approved. Our next item on the agenda is to confirm a reappointment for the Parks Commission. And
You're gonna do a privilege of the floor.
oops, I did not do the privilege of the floor. Is there anyone here who would like to speak to the privilege of the floor? Okay, then we will indeed continue on with the Parks Commission reappointment. And I'm on the Parks Commission, and Mr. Dondo is he's been a good Parks Commission member, and he wants to be reappointed. So is there anyone else who has any comments on this appointment? Okay, all in favor of the appointment, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? And the resolution carries. And our next resolution is to confirm appointments for the landfill commission. And I believe, did everybody get a chance to look at the resumes for these two candidates? Anyone have any questions? Up? Got enough room to get in there?
Yeah.
All right.
So just in case you guys have questions, Aaron Gustafson, manager of Stock County Landfill.
Thank you, Aaron.
The resolution is to appoint one new member, the final member for the full commission, and then to a replacement member, Mike Sires from the BPU, who was a member of the large municipal customer, is retiring, and his replacement, Paul Schneider, will be filling that position. And then the new member is Angela Ricotta, and she will be filling the large private customer role, and she is from Titan X Industries.
Sounds good. Have they had a meeting yet, or are they?
Oh yeah, we've had
yeah?
we've had 2 meetings thus far.
Okay.
I feel like they've gone fairly well. It's a work in progress, but they've even helped do some approvals and some advocacy for me, so I'm pleased with it so far.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
All right.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I just wanted to make a note too. Paul Schneider worked for the county for, I can't remember exactly how many years, but a lot of years within the engineering department. So,
Yes.
and he's, I think, a good asset to the commission.
Yes, that seems like that would be a good addition. He's got a lot of experience with the county, so should be great.
Mr. Schneider even showed up to our last meeting, even before approval, so it was nice to see him and work with him.
Good. All right. Thank you for that information. Did anybody else have any comments?
I'm not going to vote for, they're very fine gentlemen, I'm sure. But I still don't, it's not clear to me why we need a landfill committee, why it was established without, I can't vote for it. Members without a clear justification of its purpose. I had a conversation, Bill Parment, who you probably know was the first DPW person way back in the day, but also an assembly person. And he's very concerned. He called me just sort of out of the blue, and said he's very concerned about solid waste. And he said, you know, it's a universal problem and it's not in the public's interest to have a private company. Government is not a business. Solid waste is like roads and bridges. And I guess he called me because he had some concerns about the commission and the purpose of the commission. Obviously, they don't have any voting power, but I think there's still some concerns about that, and I guess that's why I'm really against it, so.
Very good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for that comment. All right, anyone else? Hearing none, then all in favor of this resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Okay, thank you. The resolution carries. Okay, our next proposed resolution today is to authorize the acceptance of donated land at Eggleston Road in the Township of North Harmony for the development of a parking area along the west side overland trail. And
Tim Carr, Director of Public Facilities.
Sam Zaffuto, Fiscal Supervisor, Public Facilities.
thank you, guys.
Sam, I'm going to let you go because you know this was.
Yep, no, the Canal,
was donated.
yep, this land, actually, the Canal family came to the Parks Commission of this past summer with the idea of this parking area, with donating the land to the county. Actually, John, as part of the Parks Commission, was there. We've actually been discussing this monthly with the Parks Commission. They've unanimously agreed to move forward with the donation of us accepting it, of us making it a parking area, and using the existing funds from the parks timber harvest that have previously been done, moving that money to fund this project. All this has been designed by DPF Engineering in conjunction with the County Law Department.
So is this gonna be a paved parking lot? Or it's gonna be a stone, because I've been up to the east side and there's some stone. I'm just wondering what kind of parking lot it's gonna be.
I'm assuming it'll be gravel.
Gravel, okay. And my understanding is, that a lot more people are using and that's the west side, right? It's the west side.
Yes, yeah, this is on the west
That there's
side.
been a lot more visitors, and that's one of the reasons.
Yep, that is correct.
Yeah. I think it's a great idea. That's really nice of this family to donate.
I'm amazed by the parks and the trails and everything the county being new. It's like, holy, I never knew
Yeah.
a lot of stuff. It's amazing what we have and how much it gets used.
I agree. I think it's a great asset for the county. I think that it brings people in, and it's a great recreation opportunity. So yes, we have been discussing it in the Parks Commission meetings, and I think everyone's in favor of it. So, okay, any more comments on this resolution? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the resolution carries. And our last resolution is amending the capital appropriations for the Sherman Shop generator.
Yes, actually, the Department of Public Facilities had two projects. One was the Sherman Shop generator, and there was a Sheridan Shop generator as well. The Sheridan Shop generator actually had an underrun of $5,345. However, that had been previously closed out by Resolution 7823 in January. Our intention all along had been to use the savings from Sheridan to cover the overrun we had an additional 50 feet of a line we had to put in. That's part of the overrun cost. So that's always been in our idea of how we were going to balance these two accounts. Just the one got closed out a couple months earlier.
Sounds like a good way to handle it. And this completely covers the the
Yep.
cost.
Yep, yeah, this project is complete. This is final numbers on it.
Great, all right. Any questions concerning this resolution? All in favor of the proposed resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution carries. And I guess our last resolution is to amend the 2023 budget to implement the Air Service Development Project within the Chautauqua County American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA spending plan.
Good
Afternoon.
afternoon. Shannon Barnhart, Manager of Airports for Chautauqua County. I'm here. As you guys are aware, about 6 years ago, we lost Essential Air Service at Jamestown. And since then, a couple of applications have been put into the DOT to try to restore air service here for the county. Those applications were denied, and we were asked to submit more data. We need to go out for an air service recovery program to get that. And through that is a study that includes a leakage study, a catchment area study, community engagement, several different things to complete the data requests that we need for the Department of Transportation. And as part of that, we're requesting money from the ARPA funding. And we did go out with the CCIDA to ask for about a third of that funding to try to offset some of it, so we weren't using it all from the county. Essentially what I'm here for. But, you know, I hear on a daily basis how we need air service back. You and I are not the people to do that. I need the professionals to sit down and give me the hard data and to go out. And we just don't have the resources to do that inside of the county. So this is our first step. Without this, there's really nothing that helps us move forward with air service. So
Very good. Any questions concerning this? All right.
I'm going to let Tim answer, actually. No, I'm just kidding.
No, that you said that they were requesting more data. Who was requesting more
The
data?
Department of Transportation.
They wanted more.
So the Department of Transportation is who denied the two applications. You know, coming in kind of from the outside and seeing what was submitted, excellent information. It's what they asked for at the time. But it was from an airline. So it wasn't from us. The data that was given to them was from one specific airline that we had to apply with. And they want to see the data as a whole and not from one specific route that they thought would be the best for them. So we need to study all routes. We need to see what routes are most beneficial, not just choose one on our own. So as part of this study, it goes into a lot more detail than just, you know, who wants to have an airline here in Chautauqua County. I mean, this is what is viable, what is not. You know, we can't just go out and say, hey, we all want to go to DC and pick it. You know, they have to
Right.
have actual numbers and data to go along with it. We struggle a little bit with, you know, the Essential Air Service subsidizes the airline costs to help us in our area. Right now, people are driving to Erie, Buffalo, you know, and we just fall within a certain range for the subsidy costs to be. There's like certain numbers, and there's a distance from large hub airports that you have to be to have the larger subsidies. So I know Ron did a great job in the past of going to local businesses and, you know, having them help offset some of those costs as well. They're still on board. We've still had discussions with them since then. We just need the hard data, which this recovery program would help us to provide.
I got a call from a constituent, and his thought was, and you're going where I'm going. You've already been to where I'm going. Wow, sounds like an airport. You know, his frustration was, we've always gone to Pittsburgh and we've always gone to, forgive me, wherever else we went. Where else did we go?
Nowhere. We went to Pittsburgh, but the second application that was put in was Fort Dulles as well.
Or Dallas. So,
Yeah.
But his thing was, and he's just the average guy in the street,
Yeah.
which I relate to because I'm asking the same question. What if we want, and I'm just making this stuff up, what if 20 people a day want to go to Cleveland
Right.
or to Buffalo? I know it's only in, but what if you could offer,
Mhm.
if you can go $19 to Pittsburgh, you should be able to get them to Buffalo. He goes, we should be looking into not where can we go, where do people want to go?
Yeah,
And
the need.
can we go there? It's too simple.
Mhm.
I've learned this in government to just, a straight line isn't always there. There's funding, there's, like you said, there's distance, there's allowances, there's so many rules and regulations.
Runway length.
Yeah.
We have difficulty with that as well. So
So,
no, it's a great question. I've also had it asked me, why can't we just call Frontier and have them come in? And well, they don't have an aircraft that fits our runway. So we have a 5,300 foot runway. It's great for most aircraft except for in wet conditions. So we run into an issue in the wintertime. Same reason Cummins only comes in seasonally. We can't get directly from here to Florida, which the majority of the people in this area like to go south. We've got to make a stop. And the Pittsburghs and the Clevelands of the world are not hubs anymore to make that stop. So if you stop in one of those locations, you're likely going to stop again and then go on to down south. So, we've done a little bit more research. And in the past, I think when you went to Pittsburgh, you had to get your bags, recheck them, go through TSA again. That was a huge issue. I know the previous airline that was here now went from Bradford. They don't do that anymore. They offer where you can actually go to the next location, leave your bags on, and continue on, so you're not having to recheck. So a lot of things have come along with the service providers who utilize Essential Air Service. So that's another thing. It's not every airline is not in the Essential Air Service program, and not every aircraft can be utilized here. But great question on getting to Buffalo. So last month I was in Albany. We were advocating for New York aviation, and as part of the NIAMA group for managers. And I obviously brought up Essential Air Service because it's an issue that's going to probably go politically, and we have a lot of support in the Western New York region from those state providers to help us when we do submit an application. Providing this gets approved, we can submit that last and what I feel like needs to be the final application with the DOT. So we do have a lot of support there, but I was in the group with the Buffalo airport. We talked a lot about how do we get those funds to stay in New York State instead of people driving to Erie and driving to Cleveland and Pittsburgh. So, that is part of this. It's not just let's look at an airline. I would like to look at air taxi services. We've got electric. We're in a great shape for electric aircraft. With the infrastructure is here at Chautauqua County. So we've talked about, if we could just get some sort of air taxi to an airport just to get us to not have to drive the hour and a half. And that's kind of like a plan B for me. I mean, I would really, really like to have air service as a whole back so we can go directly from here to a different location. But there's other things that this study is going to be looking at, not just that. It's going to be our plan B and plan C. And if this isn't viable, how do we move forward with aviation in Chautauqua County? So it's more than just, I know everybody hears the words, study, and we haven't done this here. We haven't had to. We've had air service. So since it's been gone, we've not done anything like this. It's just the airline has that went in for the application last time. So this is us doing it internally, having the data to provide to all airlines, not just one of them, that are in this Essential Air Service program.
so my assumption is this study is going to, I don't want to use the wrong words here, but prove that we need essential air service.
Yeah,
I mean, what if the study comes back and it says,
Mhm.
nah, I don't think so.
it's not viable in
Then
this
do we
area.
just step away from it and let it go, or do we force it?
This will help us to go down another avenue for that. So
Okay.
we've got a lot of opportunities. I want the best one for the airport and for the county. So
Right.
I can't do that on my own. I need to go out and work with an actual person who is in air service and provide the real facts and data before we make that decision.
Part of that I heard from someone else also was it'd be nice to be able to get to, and I'm familiar with this, to Charlotte.
Mhm.
Is there any chance that something like that could possibly happen? I know you probably can't give
Oh, we're going to look at all options. I mean,
Because Charlotte's a stop
mhm.
if you're going to Florida. Well, most everybody, if you're taking Delta, they're going to Atlanta, but a lot of stops are in Charlotte now.
So it just depends on the airlines that work under that essential air service contract, if they have service to those airports too. So, we can work with Boutique was one of them, Southern, which we had in the past, Cape Air, 3 that I can think of off the top of my head. I think there's 1 or 2 more carriers, but they have to have a contract with those different locations to be able to utilize the airports. So
So we've had
we
these,
will look, that will all be studied though in the,
it
the
seems like
routes.
we had airlines that serviced us, and then one of them, I think, just changed their name, so they became another one because they had a different name.
maybe not just change the name, but they get bought out by another. Yes,
But you know what I'm
that
saying?
happens. Yes.
It's still,
Yes. We've
Um,
also had discussions about that I know the previous one left kind of a bad taste, I think, in mouths of a lot of people around here. There wasn't very reliable service at the time. They have had a change in management. They've talked to us since then. I do think a whole new branding and marketing strategy would have to take place, and we would really need to see how their business is being run. But they're doing a decent job at Bradford right
and I know all these answers are out there. I'm not asking for an answer. Another concern that was shared with me was we can fly from Jamestown to Pittsburgh, and then we can go from Pittsburgh to somewhere else. But when you get into Pittsburgh at 9:30 in the morning and the flight to somewhere else is 11:30 the next day, I
Mhm.
mean, it's great to be able to get there, but the name of the game is, a 2 or 3 hour wait, and then you're on your way, not staying overnight.
Right.
Even though,
Right. And to me, that seems, unreasonable. You kind of made a joke about the airports and the high prices, but honestly, it's a great, it's a convenience. Aviation and flying is a convenience. You shouldn't have to wait around. You're paying the money to get there. And
Right.
hopefully the essential air service can offset the cost enough to be viable in our area, but you still shouldn't be waiting there for hours to get to your next location. So, I mean, obviously there are some times that there's nothing any of us can do about it, weather or maintenance or something, but on a regular basis, no, that's
well, my
not reliable
sympathy
service
for
to me.
people that are going on vacation to Hawaii and they had to wait 40 minutes extra somewhere. I'm like, man, I feel so bad for you right now that you were inconvenienced to get to
Right.
Honolulu. And, even though Fredonia and this area is the Honolulu of the East, we
Right.
appreciate that. I'm just gonna state this right now. In committee, I'm probably not gonna vote for this. I know that's a big surprise. But that doesn't mean I'm not gonna vote for it. I just, right now, there's too many moving parts for me, so.
Any other questions or concerns?
I just wanted to ask a question.
Mhm.
This isn't about this particularly, but
Okay.
what percentage of flights are you anticipating or would be related to business? Like you said, Cummins is seasonal flights. I mean, are you thinking a lot of, we're talking about
Air service.
recreational air service, but then I know a lot of people have talked about the idea that businesses really use air service. That's one reason why, for their,
Mhm.
to get in.
So that's actually part of this is
Yeah.
going out to all those businesses and securing, what the percentage would be. I mean, right now we have business air service. We've got Cummins coming in twice a week. We have business aviation. That's our biggest portion. I think we had, what did I say this morning? 55 jets or something in the last 2 months, they've flown in to both airports. But, and that stuff is happening on a regular basis. But yes, part of that is going out to this local area. They call it the catchment area. Where are you flying out of? What are we missing out on? Where are those businesses going to fly out? That's all part of this study per se, to help us with this air service recovery. So I can't give you a percentage right at this moment. I hope it's a lot. And I know Ron did go out to a lot of different businesses in the past, and we do have, some numbers, and that was a great effort internally. We just don't have the resources, the programs that help provide the extrapolations to how much over the next 10 years, dollar amounts and percentages that go along with that. That's all included in in this type of study. Yeah.
I guess just for what I have, the short term that I've been here and seeing what goes on at the airport, again, amazes me. And the facility is a beautiful facility. I know there's been a lot of history and a lot of pros and cons and everything, but I think what we need to look at, as far as I'm concerned, is we need to give Shannon all the information so she can make a decision. So we can make a decision on how we want to move forward, okay? If the study comes back, again, I'm not a big person on studies either, but if the study comes through, we need to follow through with what it tells us we need to do. I think I'm a proponent of that. If it tells us that we have a service, then we put a service in here, we do the best ability to support it. If it comes back and says we can't have a service, then we go to plan B and what that plan is without a service. Without all the information, we can't make an educated decision. That's how I feel. It's a great facility. It's, you go up there and you see people coming in and out. It amazes me the traffic that is in and out on a daily basis, That's kind of where I'm at.
And that's a great point. In my tenure here, I've been through, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 studies. And the typical study response is, first of all, they know what you're leaning towards. And I'm not being critical of the study people, but you get a 3 choice. You can do this, you can do that, or I could be more in favor of this if it was a yes or no, like move forward or don't move forward.
Right.
Not, well, this might work or this might work. They typically, and I'm not demonizing this, whoever is going to do this study, but they hand it back to you like, I guess I'm more of a yes, no kind of guy than a, here's your choices. You might want to proceed or you might, no, can we do it?
Right.
Or can't we do it?
And their job is to help provide that data to take to DOT for us to get that. It's going to be a yes or no answer in the end. It's either going to be, we approve essential air service, or you can go off on your own and get commercial air service, but you're going to pay $800 a ticket to get out of here, and that's what the essential air service essentially offsets that. And I don't know anybody around here that, including myself, that wants to do that. I'm all about convenience and not having to travel and using our local airport, but that's, do I want to pay $100 or $800, for a ticket? So this is our opportunity, to get the data that we need to help us get this air service back.
And I'll stop talking in a minute. How long do we get?
It's your meeting
It's your
coming up
meeting.
next, so
Yeah, okay.
don't
I'm only hurting
inconvenience
myself
yourself,
here.
please.
And I'm all about the federal funding for the seats and all that. That's still government money, even though it's like a second cousin of ours. It's not a local share. I do have not a concern, but a thought for, I use the number $200 a seat is being subsidized or whatever by the federal government. That's all well and good, but that's still coming out of my wallet and your wallet and everybody's wallet.
So you're more of a fan of having a higher price ticket than having a federal offset?
No, I don't want to sit here acting like I'm the I'm in favor of, what am I in favor of? It being necessary. We have places to go. It's affordable and it all works out because of the demand and we can provide it because of that, not trying, and I'm not accusing anything, but trying to force something or, we can only do this because the federal government's giving us money to sit in those seats.
Hopefully
I'm
it's,
done.
Yeah.
hopefully the request, the study, our request for the study has spelled that out, that's what we want. We want a yes or no answer. We want to say, yes, there is a demand for air service, or no, there isn't. And that's, hopefully that's what this study,
That's
and
a
then
part of
in
it,
my
yes.
opinion, that's what the study has to provide for us, not not like a bunch of options. And I don't think it can provide a bunch of options. I think it can only say, look, there's this much demand, and that's it. They're not, and even at that, all they're going to do is provide how much demand or how little demand there is. And then it's up to us to try to use that to go to FAA and DOT to get them to okay an air service for us. So it's not, this is just going to be a tool to make another attempt at a essential air service. And that's all this is going to be.
Well,
is-
and
I mean,
in
this-
addition, though, I mean, the consultants that we bring on board will help us apply for that application again because, we've done it twice internally, and it's got to be right. It's got to have everything this time around to make a good decision. I mean, I feel like last time, everything that was asked for was in those applications, but the DOT didn't have everything that they needed to make those answers, and the easy way, in my opinion, was to say no to us instead of, hey, why don't you go out and do what is needed, and then we'll make that decision. It was just a no, and this is what we would need to make that decision on their part. So
Shannon, if I could just ask a question
Sure.
for clarification. My understanding is that this is for study at Jamestown Airport, correct? And I just can't help but wonder if maybe part of the issue that we have as a county is that we also have the North County Airport. You mentioned the runway at Jamestown is 5,300 feet. I think the runway in Dunkirk is
6,000.
longer than that, right? So, I mean, is it possible that the reason that these studies or that these funds get rejected is because they're saying, hey, you're trying to support two airports, why don't you just focus on one? Or what's your feeling on that?
no, that's
Okay.
definitely not. Yes, we do have a longer runway at Dunkirk, but we would definitely be denied if we went for air service at Dunkirk, given the proximity to Buffalo.
Okay,
That's the
So that's
biggest
good to know.
biggest portion. Kind of two separate things, but it will be considered. Don't get me wrong. There's a catchment area. We got to see who from Dunkirk's driving to Buffalo. Would you go to Jamestown if the ticket was $200 cheaper than out of Buffalo? Those are the type of things that are going to be looked at in here too. So it is going to take into consideration Dunkirk
okay.
and the operations there too. And yeah, it's as a whole. And to go back to the study portion of a little, like I mentioned before, this is a data-driven study. This isn't a here's your options study. This is like John was saying, it's the tools that we need to get us to that direction. But this hasn't been done before. We haven't studied any of these areas. The airline did go out and looked at the area that they thought, but the actual catchment area, the leakage studies, the specific data that the DOT, from our perspective, hasn't been studied, hasn't been looked at. So we're calling it an air service recovery program. So
And who does the study and what is the study's timeline?
So we haven't chosen an actual consultant yet because we need approval for the funding to go forth with the study. But we did, based on the dollar amount, we got the dollar amount from a specific aviation consultant who does this on a regular basis. And since then, we've had discussions with other ones as well. So we would go out and ask for proposals and
Okay.
from certain air service development
And your sort of
consultants.
timeline, if there is a green light to completion, is it a 6-month? Is it a 5-year study? How long would you think something like that would take?
Less than a year
Okay.
it would take for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, this is something that we wanted to start yesterday.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions? Okay. No other questions? Then all in favor of the proposed resolution, please say aye.
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 And all opposed?
Nay, least for right now.
Okay. One nay, the resolution carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now is there anything under other to come before the committee today?
I have a question.
Oh, yeah.
So do you think that the Public Facilities Committee should do something, like, for example, like, can we come to our own committee and bring something? Or do we have to do it in the form, like, if we want a study done or something?
Oh,
How do we do that?
I think, well, first of all, you'd have to have some idea of what exactly you're studying, and you'll probably have to have some help from the law department to create a proposed resolution.
Should I give you
And-
an example?
It could
Sure.
start as a discussion
Right,
on the
okay.
agenda, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's what I'd like to do, yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be today. I wasn't prepared to talk about it today. But I talked to Drew about it, Drew Rogers, and see it go.
Just call the office and tell them what you want, and put it under discussion for the
Under
agenda for
discussion.
next
Okay,
month. Yep.
great.
I mean, then it's on the agenda.
Yeah,
right.
That sounds good. That was
Yep.
kind of a surprise. Okay.
Then you get a study of the study.
Very good.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions or comments under other? Well, if there's nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Susan seconded,
Okay.
and we're all in favor.
Mr. Scudder and Ms. Parker, thank you very much. All in favor?
Hey.
Yes. We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.